So, my dear students, next chapter, The Midnight Visitor. Let's discover who is this midnight visitor in this chapter. Ausable, a secret agent, is expecting to get a very important report. Another secret agent, Max, threatens him with a pistol, demanding the report. Does Ausable outwit him? Outwit him, that means outsmart him, outplay him, outfox him, outmaneuver him, or in the simple words, to be clever than him or fool him. Let's discover this in the chapter. How is Ausable different from other secret agents? Who is Fowler? What is his first authentic thrill of the day? A real thrill. Authentic is real, genuine excitement of the day. Ausable is a writer. I tell you before I commence the chapter, Ausable did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Fowler being a writer, he has read several secret agents or spy or detectives, but he has never found anybody like Ausable. Following him down the musty corridor of a gloomy French hotel. Now, it is a very damp place where he is staying in a gloomy, dark hotel where Ausable had a room. Fowler felt let down. It was a small room on the sixth floor, top floor, scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. Romantic is something which is not real. Ausable was, for one thing, fat, very fat, and then there was his accent. Though he spoke French and German passively, acceptably, he had never altogether lost the American accent he had brought to Paris from Boston 20 years ago. "You are disappointed," Ausable said visily. Visily is congestion, through the congestion over his shoulder. "You were told that I was a secret agent, a spy, dealing with espionage. What is the word? Espionage. It is not espionage. What is it? Espionage and danger. You wish to meet me because you are a writer, young and romantic. You envisioned mysterious figures in the night, the crack of pistol, drugs in the wine. This is a scenario you feel when you think of a detective in your mind, somebody equipped with binoculars, half face covered, pistol in the pocket, and many things you assume when you walk to meet a detective. Instead, you have spent a dull evening in a French music hall with a sloppy fat man who, instead of having messages slipped into his hand by the dark-eyed beauties, get only prosaic telephone call making an appointment in his room. The very, very, very normal telephone calls he received to get an appointment in the room. You don't have glamorous secretary who's calling to me to make an appointment. You have been bored. The fat man chuckled. He laughed with quietly, that is called chuckled, to himself as he unlocked the door of his room and stood aside to let his frustrated guest enter. And who is this frustrated guest? Fowler. Who is the second person who entered the room? Is Fowler. Frustrated guest enter. You are disillusioned. Disillusioned is disappointed, which this means over here. What you expected and what is you can see is something confusing, disappointing. Ausable told him, But take cheer, be happy, my young friend. Presently you will see a paper, quite important for no. This is a no, with which several men and women have risked their lives. Come to me. Someday, soon, the papers may well affect the courts of history. Now somewhere he able to secure some papers. He is referring to them as document, important papers, or report. In that thought is drama, is there not? As he spoke, Ausable closed the door behind him and then he switched on the light. And as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill of the day. Now, what is this first authentic thrill of the day? For halfway across the room, a small automatic pistol in his hand, stood a man. No, there was already a man inside the room. Before they could enter, Ausable blinked a few times. Max, he knew, he whizzed, no, spoke noisily with congestion. You gave me quite a start. No, he is startled, stunned. I thought you were in Berlin. He already knew him. What are you doing here in my room? Max was a slender, thin, lean and thin, a little less than tall, with features that suggested slightly crafty, pointed a countenance of a fox. He looked like no typical spy or detective. There was about him, aside from the gun, nothing else menacing. He was looking perfect as a detective, but he was holding a gun and was disturbing, menacing. The report, he murmured. He whispered what he desired. I want a report. The report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles. I thought I would take it from you. It will be safer in my hands than in yours. He clearly stated the objective. Ausable moved to an armchair and sat down heavily. Because he was a heavy man, he sat down heavily. But he was relaxed. I'm going to raise this devil with the management this time. Now, raise the devil, this phrase means fight to uproar. Like, fight. That means I will be complaining about that. How can anybody enter my room? He is perplexed. He is surprised. And you can bet on it, he said grimly, sadly. This is the second time in a month that somebody has got into my room through the nuisance of a balcony. Now, he is stating that that balcony in my room creates a lot of confusion, nuisance. Fowler's eyes bent to the single window of the room. It was an ordinary window against which now the night was pressing blackly. Balcony? Max said, with a rising inflection. He could not believe balcony. No, a passkey. I did not know about the balcony. Now, Max said, I don't know about the balcony. I came with a passkey. He had a duplicate key and he opened the door and entered the room. It might have saved me from some trouble, that I know. It's not my balcony, Ausable said, extreme irritation. With extreme irritation, he said, not from balcony. It belongs to the next apartment. He glanced explanatorily at Fowler. You see, he said, this room used to be the part of a large unit, and the next room, through the door there, used to be the living room. And it had the balcony, which extends under my window now. You can get in onto it from the empty room 2 doors down. Somebody did last month. He's giving explanation that it was, he's creating some kind of story. that management promised to block it off. The management of hotel, they promised me that they will close the balcony which gives the entrance to this room, but they have not done so. But they haven't. Max glanced at Fowler, who was standing stiffly not far from Ausable. He was very much scared. Fowler was very much scared. Ausable, pretending to be very relaxed. And Max was playing his trick, waved the gun with a commanding gesture. "Please sit down," he said. "We have a wait of an hour." "I think 31 minutes, Ausable said moodily. The appointment was for 12:30. "I wish I knew how you learned about the report, Max." The little spy smiled evilly. Now he's a cruel manner he smiled. I came to know. Now there is some kind of proud gesture there. "And we wish we knew how your people got the report, but no harm has been done. I will get it back tonight." "What is that? Who is at the door?" Somebody knocks at the door. So again they respond, "Who is there at the door?" Fowler jumped at the sudden knocking at the door. Ausable just smiled. "That will be the police," he said. Who said? Ausable said, "That will be the police." "I thought that such an important paper as the one we are waiting for should have a little extra protection." "I told them to check on me to make sure everything was all right." So he states that I have called the police to secure the paper for some extra security for these important, valuable documents, reports, or important papers. Max bit his lip nervously. Now something going into the mind of Max, and he became nervous. Knocking was repeated. "What will you do now, Max?" Ausable simply asked. "If I don't answer the door, they will enter anyway. The door is unlocked, and they will not hesitate to shoot." Now, this is what he extended that. Max's face was black with anger as he begged swiftly towards the window, and he became terrified. He hung a leg over the sill. Sill is, there is a shelf on the window that is called window sill. "Send them away," he warned. I will wait on the balcony." What he suggested? "I will wait on the balcony. Send them away. I'll shoot and take my chance." So he said, "Send them away. Send the police away, and otherwise I'll shoot you. I'm waiting for them to go back in the balcony." The knocking at the door became louder and a voice was raised. "Mr. Ausable, Mr. Ausable." Keeping his body twisted so that his gun still covered the fat man, and guessed the man at the window grasped the frame with his free hand to support himself, and then he swung his other leg up over the windowsill. Now he tried to jump across, thinking that there is a balcony. The doorknob turned swiftly. Max pushed with his left hand to free himself from the sill and dropped to the balcony. And then, as he dropped, he screamed once shrilly, sharply. He shouted, he cried. The door opened. The waiter stood there with a tray, bottle, and 2 glasses. "Here is the drink you ordered for when you returned," he said. So it was not the police. It was the waiter with the drinks in his hand. They set the tray on the table deftly, carefully, uncorked, opened the cork, cap of the bottle, and left the room, white face. Very nervous, Fowler stared after him. He has just now witnessed a thrill. But he stammered. He was unable to speak. He was speaking with a stammer sound, faltering sound. The police? There were no police. Now police is a plural. There were no police. Ausable sighed. Only Henry, whom I was expecting. But wouldn't that man out in the balcony? Fowler began. No, said Ausable. He wouldn't return. You see, my young friend, there is no balcony by Robert Arthur. So there was no balcony. He fetched or made a story that there is a balcony. He made him jump out of fear. He got panic attack. He jumped without checking the balcony and succumbed to the death. He gave his life. I hope you liked the story.